First of all of the footage that you're currently seeing is just a background because we are doing a video after all, not a radio show. A good starting point for this video is what Fair Fight is. Fair Fight levels you down and sinks your stats down to what they would have been at that level that you got synced down to. In case of hard dungeons that are endgame content, it will sync your stats to what they should have been for entering that dungeon. In Maplestory 2, Fair Fight is currently implemented in dungeons and on world bosses. A very large part of the community, currently 85%, is highly unhappy about Fair Fight being in the game, as it is not in the Korean version or Chinese version. Arguments against Fair Fight include the fact that the whole point of getting stronger in an MMO is feeling powerful in the content that you previously did not feel powerful in, because otherwise, what is the point in leveling and getting gear? And that Fair Fight will make doing daily runs take a lot longer and be a lot grindier than it should. Now let's get on to why I'm pro Fair Fight. Reason 1. Allowing low levels to participate in content as intended. Ever had that upsetting feeling of arriving at world boss late? Or even worse, failing to catch a world boss because some max level dickhead took it down in 20 seconds? And what about queuing for a level 20 dungeon only to realize that you're partied with a max level that for some reason is farming this dungeon and getting to watch him ruffle stomp this whole place as you don't even get to land a single hit? While MMOs are endgame centric, preserving the leveling experience tends to be an important step in retaining new players. Reason 2. Content longevity. Granted, content longevity requires a bit more than just Fair Fight. It requires content to have an incentive to be done. However, limited gear scale in dungeons means that you can do the same dungeons over and over with the same level of challenge, instead of getting bored of them because they become too easy. I have seen many games where all content participation becomes top heavy and population starts dying off as new joiners do not have a way to catch up to old players. This was specifically exasperated in Blade and Soul because they were releasing years worth of content in mere months, meaning that people were doing 15-hour days just to keep up with the gear treadmill, which left the starting dungeons not being done at all, and people just couldn't get any groups because anyone higher up did not want to sacrifice their time to get the new player some gear, meaning that the population started dropping, and fast. It was not a pretty sight. Reason 3. To remove scaling is to look outdated. Ever since 2012, pretty much all MMOs in the West have introduced scaling of some sorts to different amounts. Guild Wars 2 scales you to dungeons and events, the bare minimum any new MMO does now, and on an extreme end, Elder Scrolls Online scales you to whole zones, as you can experience most of the content in any order that you wish, whenever you wish. To address the arguments against Fair Fight, you get gear in order to be able to access the new tough content, not necessarily to go back and, show it up to that one lonesome bear in some random village. That lonesome bear is there for the new player, not for you. Move on. 2. If any content feels grindy, I don't think that the answer should be to stuck through it and hope that it will be better once you out-level it. It should be to hope that the content gets changed and tweaked to better suit everyone's needs. For example, currently world bosses are just not fun. They weren't very fun in closed beta 2 when I was doing them, and nothing changed to our knowledge since then. They're big health sponges and they don't hit very hard, meaning that all that causes is for you to stand there for a good 20 minutes pressing that one button to hit it over and over and over again, which wasn't fun when you were level 30. It's not fun when you're level 50 either, but the answer to this should be to balance the world bosses in a way that it's a fun mechanic, and not to just wait out to level 50 when you can do them faster. Now, what could be done to bridge the gap between those that want and don't want fair fight? It is safe to say, judging from the forum responses, that everyone would be happier with fair fight if it was tweaked, and even maybe completely indifferent to it existing then. Such tweaks could include allowing players to do content without sinking down if they're entering with a private party. Final Fantasy XIV allows this, and it is currently keeping the old raids alive. Make the level sync more forgiving. If you have a level 10 world boss, sinking players down to level 30 might be enough to let the new players participate too. Or only sync down when there's a low level player in the party and sync down to their level. Personally, I would like the first option to be done, but I wouldn't want fair fight to go away. If anything, I think it would be fun if fair fight was also applied to PvP to keep it a level playing field, if it was an option in raids to keep the raids alive after new ones come out, and if we had no levels at all in the open world, as that would let me cruise from zone to zone as I see fit. But I don't harbor much hope in that happening. I hope this video has helped you understand why one might be a pro fair fight and invite you for a nice discussion. So what is your opinion on fair fight? Feel free to leave it in the comments.